Hi, this is my commentary on the movie Braveheart. I'll start off commenting on the music. There was some great, authentic Scottish music all throughout the movie, and it portrayed the situation and the emotions of the characters really well throughout the entire movie. There'd be really intense music during the fighting scenes and really romantic music, with the addition of bagpipes a lot of the time since it was in Scotland. And the music was an overall great addition to this movie. Um, they really didn't hold back on the fighting scenes during the movie, and this makes sense because it's rated R, so they didn't have to hold back as much. But that was a point that Mel Gibson was trying to make, and I think they did a great job of portraying how violent things really would have been during these wars. I mean, they called themselves savages in the movie even, they were it was pretty savage fighting, and people were, speared with gigantic spears bigger than people, and there was some really really bloody gory moments, but that this was how people were really killed during this time period in these wars. And they did a great job on the costumes. That sometimes in medieval movies you see characters all looking like gorgeous, clean princes and princesses and kings and queens, and this movie really portrayed, they were really dirty and disheveled, like how people actually would have been in the medieval times. I'm sure even kings and queens were dirty a lot of the time because nobody could bathe a lot, and that made a lot more sense that they kept that throughout this entire movie. And the casting was absolutely great. Mel Gibson's directing was great, and his portrayal of William Wallace was, I'm sure, really accurate. He did a great job of exploring the emotions that William might have had in his situations that he put him in, and he did a great job of showing how he would have inspired these Scottish armies in these clans as they went and fought the English, and he did a great job up till the end when he became a martyr for his beliefs, and I just think that that was an absolutely fantastic choice. The view throughout the entire thing, just in general, the Scottish landscape is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it could be included in any movie because you could watch that for 3 hours. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the panoramics of it really help you see the sheer size of the land that was being fought on, and the amount of people that were fighting. There were a lot of people at war, and they were at war for a few centuries, as I read, and I just think that that was the point, was for you to see just how vast these wars were. And the lighting was a very interesting because parts of the movie were very dark, of course, but the general lighting was light all the time. There were hardly any night scenes in the whole movie. It was light almost the entire time. The only time it was ever raining was during the romance scenes, and rain can be kiss in the rain, that whole thing. It can be seen as a romantic thing sometimes. So I think that that's what Mel Gibson was going for. But I think that it was light for most of the time because they were fighting against the darkness in their eyes. They were fighting to be the light in their cause, and William Wallace himself was fighting to be the light in this cause, and I think that that's the commentary that Mel Gibson was making. And finally, there's a common theme throughout the whole movie, and it's said by William Wallace's father at the beginning of the movie, towards the beginning, before he's killed, and he says, "Your wits are what makes you a man," or something along the lines of that. And that's a really common theme throughout this whole movie. William Wallace himself talks about keeping his wits a lot, and it basically meant you had to have more than strength and the will to fight. You had to know what to do when you were fighting to outsmart the enemy and things like that. And so he constantly reminded his soldiers throughout the entire movie to keep their wits about them, not just their courage. And that was an important part of being brave. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary.